Okay, let's get started for today. We're going to be taking a few notes, and then we'll be doing a Nearpod lesson. And then after that, we'll be doing a simulation in which you'll be able to do the quiz with the simulation. So in the chat, I'm going to put a few things that we're going to be learning today. First thing we're going to do, we're going to do some knowledge and comprehension. And then we'll be doing some application and applying by doing a Nearpod lesson that will allow us to understand what we learned and apply it to different situations. And then we'll be doing a creation and evaluation. Okay, at the end of class. So that'll be the last 20 minutes of class. So go ahead and put your name on your notes and today's class and period and today's date. The date is up there on the board. Make sure you put that there. And this is our topic for today. Is ecological relationships. Ecological relationships. And we know that word ecological, ecology is the root word, so it means outdoor. And relationships means being in partnership with each other. So we're going to look at relationships that are happening outside, between animals, between trees, between landscapes, between locations. Specifically today, it'll be on islands. And here is our agenda for today. Again, we'll take notes for 20 minutes. That'll be our knowledge and comprehension part of the lesson today. And then we will do a time to climb activity and summarize our notes. That will be our application and analysis part of our learning. And then for the last 20 minutes, we will be doing an island simulation or simulations, more than one, and take the quiz along with that. So that will be our creation and evaluation portion of class. So remember, you put the question in red on the left of your notes, and then you put the notes underneath on the right. Again, the question on the left and the notes on the right. And our first note says, what is species richness? Okay, the next slide talks about the rescue effect. What is the rescue effect? Okay, the next slide talks about the species area effect. The species area effect. What is the species area effect? Okay, let's change the slide. And now let's talk about the target effect. The target effect. What is the target effect? Okay, and then the next slide. What is the time stability hypothesis? How does time make things stable? What is that hypothesis? Okay, so let's go back and review. So what is species richness? What words here are the most common words that will help you remember the definition? Okay, let's go to the next word, the rescue effect. So which word here would make you remember rescue effect? Okay, the next word was species area effect. Which words here will make you remember those words? Underline the word. Okay, then we have the target effect. It's a lot of effects today, but you'll see how it all ties together. What word here allows you to remember, a group of words allows you to remember the definition to this? Okay, and the last slide was the time stability hypothesis. What word here will allow you, or a group of words will allow you to remember the time stability hypothesis? Okay, So let's go back to the chat. And I'm going to put some things in the chat that will help you remember. Now, remember, smaller islands get the rescue effect. I'm sorry, not smaller islands, closer islands. Closer islands. So it gets the rescue effect. Close, okay? But just like if you went to the grocery store, if you had a chance to go to Walmart, which is further away, or the convenience store down the street, just depends on what you need. If you need something really quick, you don't need to go grocery shopping, you don't want to take that time, you will go straight to the convenience store right down the street and get what you need and come right back home. But if you need something that is a little bit more extensive, a little bit more, you need more stuff, well, Walmart has a better variety, has more of a variety, has more of a inventory for you to pick from. Same thing with animals. If it's closer, it's the rescue effect. Now, after the rescue effect, you have the target effect. That's when you get the largest. That's when it's the largest island. Okay? Island, get the target effect. Effect. And also with the largest, you get this these area effect. It has more resources. So all things being considered, as long as you have the larger island compared to a smaller island, the larger island is going to win. Now, a lot of times the smaller island is the rescue island, where that's where a lot of species end up because it is a smaller island. Okay, so let's go ahead and transition ourselves to our activity today. And what we're going to do is go to our Schoology page and go to materials and go to week 8, because we're in week 8. And we're going to go to homework, and we're going to go right here to time to climb. So you're going to click on the time to climb. And you're going to get into the time to climb. You're going to sign in with Office. And I will be on the other side to let you in. And we will play time to climb, and we will review what we need to review from that. Again, we're moving from this portion of our learning. We did our knowledge and comprehension. We have identified what we need to know. Okay, now we're going to go and apply it. We're going to go apply it to the time to climb review. And once we're done with that, we will review the time to climb. And then we will do our simulation and do our creating of a simulation and use that to take our test or take our quiz. Okay, so go ahead and get in time to climb. Go ahead and get into that. Again, it is in your homework folder in week 8. Week 8 homework folder. Go ahead and get there. You have a few more minutes to get there. You got about a minute left to get to your time to climb before we get started. Okay, so you should be at your time to climb. Let's go ahead and get started with our time to climb. Okay, to review again, let's go back over it. Remember that rescue effect means a closer island. You're closer, so the species, whatever species it may be bird, it may be a snake, it may be an arthropod, anything that is closer, it will go there. That is the rescue effect. It's just trying to get somewhere safe. But if any species had its pick, it would go to the larger island. So that would bring in the target effect. Okay? It would bring in the target effect if I can get it to, there you go. So the target effect, that's the larger island. And then you have the species area effect. So if you choose the larger island, if you're a species and you choose the larger island, you're choosing the island that has the most resources. It has room, probably has more water, it probably has more oxygen, probably has more food sources. Okay? So, and it probably has more biodiversity. And remember, the more biodiverse something is, or an area is, the healthier the area. And then we had a couple more thrown in there. You had species richness, which involves biodiversity. And we also had the last one, which was the time stability hypothesis, which means the amount of time spent equals stability. If the island has been there longer, it will definitely be more stable than one that hasn't been there as long. And you saw that in one of the examples where one of the islands had been there for 25 million years and one only been there for, I believe, about 10,000 years. So very good, very good. So now grab your notes and let's go ahead and write our summary to our notes based on what you've learned. Remember to construct a summary of 4 or more sentences describing specific learning from these notes. You may want to put something that you didn't know. You may want to put an example down there of something that you didn't know or something you want to remember. But construct a summary of 4 or more sentences describing specific learning from these notes. Okay, let's go ahead and transition to our work for today. So you're going to go back to your Schoology page. And on the Schoology page, you're going to go to week 8 folder. And in week 8 folder, you're going to go to assessments. In week 8 folder, you're going to go to assessments. And then you're going to go right here where it says ecological relationships with the puzzle piece. So you're going to click on that. We're going to actually do the simulation, and the questions to the simulation are going to be in the quiz. So go ahead and get to this part where you see this arrow. Okay, there's an arrow right there. So it says click on the virtual lab below and click on run experiments to answer the questions. These are for the people that are at home, but we're going to do it together. You have to set each question to the right settings to answer the question. Run each simulation for 30 seconds, then click to data to get the results. So go ahead and click on this simulation, this virtual lab, and you will see this come up on your screen. Again, you see some islands. And you know these islands are inhabited by different types of species. And what we're going to see is what happens when the target effect takes place, when the rescue effect takes place, when the species area effect takes place, when the time stability hypothesis is believed to be happening and taking place. We're going to see all this. We're going to see species richness in all of these places, okay? So while you're waiting, you can go ahead and read some of the background if you want to. We still got some people that are still getting there, so we're going to give them a chance to get there. But you can go ahead and read some of the background on what we're going to be doing. But you should be here, and then you have your quiz here, so you can go ahead and hit start new attempt, and you will see this come up, okay? You will see this come up. So we still got a couple more minutes and let people get there. Some people are finishing up their notes. Some people, you know, keep your notes with you because you're definitely going to need those. Again, we're going to work on it together, so you don't have to worry about running these yourself. If you are at home, you can definitely run these yourself. You just have to make sure in each question that you have your settings correct in order to get the correct answer. But if you're in class, we'll be doing it together. You got about a minute left to get yourself together. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and answer this question right here. Again, you can use your notes. So the time stability hypothesis, go ahead and see which one of these would match up with that. So I would say it would be C here. Again, the target effect. So that would be D on mine. Species area effect, again, it deals with the resources of an area, the resources. More animals, more colonists, more plants will migrate there or grow there because there are more resources. Rescue effect. And the species richness, of course, would have to be A. Okay. Now, this is where we're going to have to do a little work. Okay. So let's read the specifics of this scenario. It says in a desert habitat. So you're going to come here to your field notes, and you're going to hit run experiments, and this is going to come up. Okay. This is going to come up. So we're going to go back and forth between this and your question to make sure we have our experimental design is correct before we run the experiment. So we're going to go here to ecological relationships. And it says in a desert biome. So we're going to change these parameters up here to desert. So do that on your screen, and it should change to this. Okay. So in a desert biome, it says with island 1 with a diameter of 256 kilometers. It says it right there. And 90 kilometers away. So island 1 has a diameter of 256. So 256 is already there. And it said it's 90 kilometers away. So I'm going to make it 90 kilometers. As you see how it went further away from the mainland, right here to right there. Okay. Then island 2, 160 is the diameter, and 30 is the kilometers it is away from the mainland. So we got to change this from 256 to 160, and it is 30 kilometers away. So it is closer. It is closer, okay? So now it says here, reptiles migrate at a rate of 4. So we're going to change our taxon or our animal to reptiles. As you can see, it changed the animals here. You have snakes and different types of reptiles. And then it said the migration rate is 4. So that means they're going to leave the mainland a little bit quicker, okay? And it said the mortality rate, that is the death rate, okay? The mortality rate is 0.1. So this is going to be higher. So it's 0.1, okay? And now we have it set, and it said which island has the highest species richness. So we're going to let it run for about 30 seconds. Got about 15 seconds left. We're going to let it run. Okay, press stop right here, this button here, press stop, and you're going to click on to data. So we're going to go to the data, and we're going to see which one has the greatest island or species richness, okay? So we're going to come right here because this shows us the different type of species, not the amount, but different types, okay? So island 1 has 6 different species and island 3 has 3 different species. So which one has the greatest species richness? That would be island 1. And here it says select 2 answers because you have to give me your reasoning. So which one would be the reasoning for island 1 having the greatest island species richness? Okay, I'm gonna let you select that. Okay, so remember for number 2, you should have 2 answers, okay? All right, let's go to number 3. So number 3 is asking the same thing about the same, is asking about the same simulation. So again, the diameter was 256 in a desert biome, 90 away. That's the first island. Second island was 160 and 30. Just like this one, if you go back to the design, it's the same thing. We're going to put it back on data. And which island experiences a rescue effect? Now remember what rescue effect was. Look at your notes. What is rescue effect? Okay. What is rescue effect? Which island experiences a rescue effect? Okay. I'm gonna let you answer that. Looking back at your notes. Okay, so let's move on to number 4. So in these two, you're going to do a different type of biome or different type of habitat. So it says in a tundra habitat. So we're going to go back to our design. We're going to change it from desert to tundra. Okay. And then it says here, island 1 is 64 has a diameter of 64 and is 10 kilometers away. So diameter of 64, this is island 1. Island 1, diameter of 64. So I'm going to bring this down to 64. So we're greatly decreasing that island size. And it said it's only 10 kilometers away. So the distance here is 10. So it is very close to the mainland, and it's very small, okay? Then island 2 is 160 in diameter and 210 kilometers away. So it's 160 in diameter. We already got the same size, but it's 210. So I'm going to move this up to 210. So you can see island 1 is closer and smaller than island 2, okay? So this one we're going to change to birds. See, it says right there, birds migrate. So we're going to come right here and change the taxon or the animal to birds. So now we need to get their migration rate and mortality rate. Their migration rate is 3, mortality rate is 0.5. So I'm going to move this down to 3 and move this down to 0.5. Make sure you do that on your screen. Make sure you're doing that on your screen. And now we're going to let this one run for 30 seconds, and we'll be able to answer the next 2 questions. Okay, press stop. Okay, so you stopped it, and now you click on data. Okay, and now we're at data. All right, so let's go back and look at our question. The question asks, which island has the benefit of the target effect? Now look at your notes about the target effect. Which island has the benefit of the target effect? Okay, and then it says explain your reasoning. So you're going to select 2 answers here. okay? So make sure you select two answers. Okay, now let's go to question 5. So question 5 is the same tundra, it's the same experimental design, except it says in this situation, was the target effect enough to equal the species richness of the other island? Remember, species richness shows the amount. So go here, and does this equal or exceed the species richness of the other island? Was it able to balance it out? Even though it's further away, was the target effect able to balance them out or exceed it? Okay, let's go to the last two questions, okay? So this one says in a tropical habitat, so I'm going to go back to my experimental design, and I'm going to change it to a tropical habitat. You see it changed habitats. Now it's completely green because tropical means a lot of rain, which means a lot of photosynthesis. So it says Island 1 has a diameter of 160 and it's 30 kilometers away. So Island 1, I'm going to change that. It has a diameter of 160 and it's 30 kilometers away. So it's a little bit further away from the mainland than it was in the last experimental design. And then it says that Island 2 is just as large as the Island 1 is 160 and 160, except this one is further away. It's 330 kilometers away. So it's 160 and 160 to make this 330. So you can see the islands are the same size, except one of them is closer than the other. So now we're looking at arthropods. So we're going to change our taxon or our animal to arthropods. And they migrate at 3, and their mortality rate is the same as the birds. So their migration is 3, just like the birds, and their mortality is 0.5, like the birds. That means 5% of the population dies every year. That's what that means, okay? So let's run the simulation for 30 seconds again. Okay, stop your simulation. We did it for 30 seconds. And now let's go to the data. Okay. So according to the data, okay, so let's look at our question. Which island has the highest species richness? Which one has the highest species richness? Island 1 or Island 2? Again, we're looking here. We're not looking over here. That's total. We don't look at the total. We want to look at how many different types of species we have. How many different types? One has 9 and one has 7. Okay? So that would be the answer to so here's your choices. They have relatively the same amount of species richness. One has 3 or more, the other one has 3 or more species, okay? All right, let's go to the last question. If Island 2 was 10 times older than Island 1, Island 2 was 10 times older. If this one was an older island, it had been there for a long time. Okay. Would you expect Island 2 to have higher, lower, or equal species richness than Island 1? So you get to go answer that one. That's talking about the time stability hypothesis. Okay. Then you get to go and answer the easiest question on your quiz. I attend White Creek High School. Of course, that answer is true. So let's go back. So we were able to talk about, we were able to apply our knowledge in the time to climb game, and we were able to create simulations and take an exam and evaluate our learning. I hope you learned a lot today about species and how species are able to migrate and to different areas, especially when things happen on the mainland and they have to venture out to sea. Hope you learned a lot today, and just get ready for the optimistic closure.